All right, guys. You could see us before
Mhm.
this, you would be dying. Okay.
Mhm.
Here we go.
Mhm.
True fashion, unlike our last episode where we had it planned out a little bit. We just honestly barely literally like what 30 seconds ago decided on what we are gonna talk about.
Yeah, we
So
kept ping ponging back and forth between two different topics, and then we were like, okay, we're definitely doing this other one, so we can't do this first one. So, no,
no. We will eventually do the other one, but not right now. Anyway, this
no.
one, because Delancey's kind of talking about it, about resources. We'll kind of just say that as it resources to help, because I feel like definitely things have taken a better direction in being able to try and help all parts
Mhm.
involved. But I think they're definitely, and I like what Delancey was talking to people tonight about. It's like there needs to be resources for, I feel, everybody
Mhm.
in the, because there's it's see, this is where it just gets so complicated because there's so many different ways. There's like adoption straight from birth, there's adoption after 2 years, there's kids that go into the foster system and then they end up, but it's
Mhm.
like resources, are so huge and so vital. And I'm learning that anyway. And it's not just for, granted, we are an adoption podcast, we talk about it, but everybody, like mental health and
Mhm.
everything, there needs to be more resources out there for people to
Mhm.
do these kinds of things. And that's one thing that I remember. I think it was Kim. Was it Kim that said that they always had it open for the birth moms to come back for counseling no
Yes,
matter what?
yes,
Okay. Yeah.
yes, which I
See,
still think is phenomenal. I love
agreed.
that.
And I think we need those kind of resources, but also what me and Delancey were kind of talking about before, one resource is not going to fit every single person's need. Because that's kind of
Mm-mm.
like the conversation she was having is, well, I would need this, 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 and this, if this happened, because
Mhm.
it's so true. Everybody's so different. And there's so many different situations as far as like what you can do to help people in every single part of, the triad,
Mhm.
because it's a lot. Like it is a lot. We understand it's a lot. And, there's, I'm not gonna lie, I wish somebody like had more resources for me on becoming a parent for like adoptive parents, which I think is awesome. But it's like, can I get a book on that? But then again, everybody parents so different that it's kind of hard just to
Mhm.
pinpoint one thing, going back to like that kind of thing. So yeah. But what were like you saying earlier about, you don't have to go into details, but just like what you were telling me, like with birth moms.
The conversation. It's kind of like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll just say it. Like I was having a conversation with my parents about it, like, talking to my mom and my dad about it, and just like it essentially came down to, because my mom kept looking at it and going, if I was in that situation, because my mom adopted me and she adopted my sister, and she had two biological, but she had a husband. She was married. She was in her 20s. Like when the whole entire family, like he had it, like it was, the American dream, whole thing, woo, party time. But she always tries to, what I appreciate about my mom is she always tries to look at it from somebody else's perspective. And so she was looking at it and going, I just keep thinking to myself, what would I possibly need if I was in that situation? And she was like, you can go down the line on a bunch of different things,
Right.
but it always comes back to the first important thing is they need childcare. They need somebody to help them with childcare so they can finish school. If
Right.
they choose to keep their baby and like
Right.
to be the mother, then
Right.
they need to be able to go to school and they need to be able to get a job and work. And you
Agreed.
can't do, and she just kept saying it, you can't do either of those things without childcare.
Right.
And so like what a different thing to approach that with and be like, wow, you're right. You can say, we want to keep families together. You can say we want to do this, we want to do that. And that's another thing that she said that I was just like, yes, yes, thank you. Is she said, I was telling her about all the people that we see that say, that you should keep the family together, keep the family together. It should stay within blood, blood should stay with blood, yada, yada, however you want to say that.
Right.
That's your choice, however you want to word it. But what it comes down to is she said it just like we say it. Sometimes that's not always the best situation. Sometimes that's not always possible.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, sometimes it's just not the right place.
Right.
especially, she was like, you can say all day long that buzz statement. And I actually said that, she didn't say it this way, but I said it to you before we started. Like, buzzwords are great, but what about buzz actions? What are you
Correct.
doing to step up and do something? And
Yes.
that was something my mom said. My mom was like, all these people that want to say all of this, what are they doing?
Right.
Are they donating and you and I have talked about this, are they donating their time? I mean, you can write a check. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. But that money isn't always going to go to help them in the long run. Money, don't get me
Exactly.
wrong, money is great. Money
Right.
will help to do certain things. There's no denying that, because
Yeah.
money keeps lights on, money keeps a roof over your head, money keeps food in your stomach.
Right.
However, money doesn't teach you how to write a resume. Money doesn't teach you how to do your taxes. Money doesn't teach you how to do an interview. Money doesn't teach you basic skills like cooking
Exactly.
to be able to make nutritional meals. Let's be honest, when I was in college, I had to make something out of nothing. Not that my parents wouldn't have helped me if I asked for it, but I was very stubborn and hard-headed, and I want to be able to do it on my own, especially like in my early 20s when I was like had a job. I had to learn how to cook a meal out of hardly anything,
Right.
in which I appreciate that because I'm more resourceful now.
Yeah.
But and I swear, if my mom and dad listen to this, my mom is going to be like, we would have helped you. Like, what is, like, we offered you help all the time. What is wrong with you? And it's like, a lot. We know this a lot, but at the same time, though, it's basic life skills
Right.
that the people that use the buzzwords take for granted,
Yeah.
and they have those skills to teach to somebody else. Basic typing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
typing has gone out the window.
Oh yeah.
Like, it blows my mind the amount of kids that I see that cannot actually type
Right.
on a keyboard.
Yeah.
Ah, insanity. But like basic things like that, how to tie a tie.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many wonderful, heartwarming videos do we see of a stranger on a bus or a stranger on a train or a police officer or a teacher showing a young man how to tie a tie on the
Exactly.
way for him to do an interview or a presentation?
Right.
All the time. We should be teaching them that. Or, for young ladies, how to walk with confidence.
Right.
I mean, I said that to you, like, to walk with your head held high and to walk with a way that gives off confidence, so that even if you're feeling like a timid, scared girl on the inside, which I feel that way all the time. However, you would never know it by the way that I walk,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I was taught to walk with confidence. You walk with confidence. Like,
Right.
simple things like that we
Yeah.
take for granted. It goes back to exactly what my mom said. Those buzzwords are super awesome and super nice, but what are they doing to actually make it work out?
Exactly.
Quit saying it, do
Exactly.
it.
No.
So,
No. I love that. And resources are so vital in just learning. You know what I mean? Especially like
mhm.
in the adoption community. And there's so many I can't even say the word resources that you can find. I mean, there's like, for instance, for us with podcast, are we, do we know everything? No. Okay, let's be real. Do we, do we like to bring people on that can help educate us in parts that we don't know? Yes.
Absolutely,
You know?
because that's the only way you learn and grow.
Exactly.
Asking questions and
Yes.
listening to other people who have more experience than you do.
Right. Well,
Shocker, we don't have all, like, we as people don't have all the answers to everything.
no, correct. And this, okay,
Call me
so
crazy.
this is kind of going into the flow of like one of these posts that I just saw that we are kind of looking at. It was like, don't expect adoptees to validate you as an adoptive parent, like grown adoptees like me and Delancey. And it really pisses me off because I truly believe me and Delancey are great resources, but that's why it's great to ask different adoptees different questions, because my story is completely different to Delancey's story. We completely have
Mhm,
different experiences with our parents. We completely
mhm,
have different experiences with bio parents. You know what I mean? And like our
mhm.
surroundings and where we grew up in. So that's why it's great to have multiple sources. And I'm sorry, but this person that's saying like don't expect me to validate you as a parent. It's like I would never even think that from people asking me questions. Like
What
not
does
at
that
all.
mean though? Like, what does that mean? Like, I'm having a hard time understanding what that means. Like,
I think it's like, don't come to me to teach you all the ways of how to make sure an adoptive child is loved and cherished and how they're never going to have any like trauma or hardship or anything. But it's like, why is it a bad thing? I feel like mom to mom, people go to mom all the time. Hey, can you help me with maybe this situation? They're like, well, I did X, Y, and Z. And it's like, okay, I think I'm going to take X out of what you did and try to do that. But I don't know if Y and Z will work with my kid. Why is it bad to go to people and be like, well, maybe I can take one thing from that and I can take, Y from a different person who did. That's how we learn, like asking people around, learning how they do different things and learning how things work different. You know what I mean? It's just, I can't see your face.
Trying to figure out when trying to help your fellow person be a good human being, when that became like validation.
Right.
Like,
Agreed.
I don't, I mean,
Yeah.
so like, if I'm just trying to run this through my head, if a person A walks up to person B and person A looks at person B and says, hey, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I run into this scenario. You have more experience in this. Can you help me? I need your help. And person B looks at them and says, no, I'm not going to validate you, and walks away. Why is
Delance's hands? I love it.
yeah,
She made Siri
apparently
go
my
off too.
watch is having my Siri's going off too.
No.
Like, that seems like that's just so mean. Like, do you know what I
Agreed.
mean? Like, that's just so like,
No.
I don't understand, where did the kindness go?
Right.
Like, where did kindness go? Where did this, I mean, have we just always been like this as a society and I've just never noticed it? Or is this like a
Mm,
recent development? Because the last time I checked, if I'm person B and person A comes up to me and they say, I need help,
right.
my immediate instinct is, how can I help you?
Exactly.
What can I do to help you?
Exactly.
What can I do to help? Like,
Yes.
I was talking with a coworker at another school today. I hardly know her. I've had maybe like a handful of conversations, if that,
Yeah.
with her over the year and a half that I've been there. And she was telling me about a death in her family. And like, I guess I'm just like this, but my immediate response was, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What can I do to help you? How can I
Yes.
help you? Like, can
Yes.
I do anything for you and your family?
Amen.
I hardly know her. She is 4 hours away from me, but
Right.
I don't understand why people's immediate reactions are not, what can I do to help? Now, that doesn't mean like give up your entire life to serve, like to the detriment
Right.
of yourself. That's insane. Don't
Correct.
do that. But just, why are we trying to start a fight to start a, like, why are we trying to fight? Like, why are we trying to
Exactly.
argue with people? Why are we trying to make other people feel like feel bad about themselves?
Right.
Like legitimately, I want
No,
someone,
seriously.
I would love, I just don't understand volatile
No,
people who are just vibrating with negativity.
no. And I'm with you. It's like, for instance, my neighbor, her mom's not doing very well and she's mega stressed out. And, my neighbor's older than me. So her mom's older than her in return. And when I
Mhm.
find out, the first thing I said is, I'm bringing you dinner. And she's like, no. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm showing up with it. So what did my kids do yesterday? We made
Mhm.
homemade soup and rolls, ran it over to her house and just was like,
That
surprise. Like,
is
I didn't
so
give her a choice.
sweet.
I text her yesterday morning and I'm like, I'm bringing you dinner. Don't cook. She's like, okay, thank you. Like, you can't give people a choice because people will sometimes backlash and be like, I'm actually okay. Thank you. Thank you for the offer, but I'm okay. But
Mhm.
I'm learning you just can't take no for an answer. And then we had a whole bunch of
Right.
leftover soup. And my
Right.
other friend, whose whole family's had the stomach bug, I'm like, I'm bringing you chicken noodle. And she's like, no. And so we took it over to him. You just have to do that. And I'm with you. Like, I don't
Mhm.
understand why you just don't want to help people. Like,
Right.
why is it so bad that people want to come to me and to Delancey and be like,
Yeah.
I want to pick your brain about this question with adoption? Like, why is it a bad thing? I've had people do it. Delancey's had people do it. I know that for a fact because we've talked about it before. But do you
Yeah.
think we are ever like, we are not going to help validate you because your kid's struggling or because you don't know this?
Right?
So no, we're not going to validate. Like,
What
it's
is that?
weird. Like, why is it bad for us to be a resource? Why?
Why would you not want to be a resource for somebody? Like, what
Exactly.
an honor. Like, think about it.
Yes.
What an honor to have somebody come to you and say, I have a question.
Yes.
I want to ask this question. And then for them to trust you within to give them an answer.
Yes. Seriously
That
though.
is not a bad thing.
Agreed. Agreed.
Like,
And
what?
yeah. And that's why like there needs to be more like, and that's what I'm saying about the resources that, need. And there are some great resources out there. Like Kim with them with the whole birth mom and the
Mhm.
counseling forever. Like you go anywhere and there's going to be different resources for different things, which I
Right.
think is great, but it goes back to what Delancey's saying. Don't talk a big game unless you're
And then
willing
not
to
back it
follow it
up.
up with actions. Yes, exactly. Like,
I will, ooh, that's one of my pet peeves. One of my pet
yes.
peeves is people that say a whole lot and say it like they will say a whole lot of words to say
Hmm.
nothing and they do nothing.
Correct.
Like that legitimately drives me insane
Yeah.
because it's one of those things of it's one of those things. It's like put up or shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
Put up or
Exactly.
shut up. Like if you're going to talk this big game, you need to be backing it up with your actions.
Right.
I
Yeah.
just, ugh, I don't like that.
No,
I don't like it.
I'm
Like I
with
just
you.
don't.
No.
And that's like, I respect people more that say, you know what, I don't really have a dog in that fight. So I don't have
Right.
it. Like, I'm not going to have an opinion on it.
Correct.
And
Correct.
then on top of that, if it's just throwing this out there, if you're going to talk a big game, be careful about the words you use
Exactly.
because word choice is very important too.
Yes.
Like, and that's as a human being, you should be cognizant of your word choice and you should be cognizant of your actions backing up your words because that shows your character. Just saying.
And your spelling.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Don't get me wrong, I've had typos, but luckily they're like on funny, stupid things. It's not like something serious that I'm incredibly passionate about that I'm like, this is how, it's not like something like when I make a video of like blood is only with blood. It's something stupid like, oh, like watch this cake. And I'm like, crap, I just spelled flour wrong. Something like that I'm not as worried about. But it's like, for
You use
instance,
the
I
thing
can
with the
think of,
petals instead of
yeah,
the things that you put in a cake. I gotcha. That's fine.
but it's like when you use words like supported and like spell supported right, like especially when it's right there in post and really
And
big.
it's in pretty handwriting, like
Exactly.
pretty type. When it's in
Exactly.
pretty font, you just tried extra hard to
Exactly.
misspell. Well, like it's like when people that, and then like I've noticed recently, a lot of them on TikTok, at least on some of the stuff, like they'll type in the comments, so they'll be arguing back and forth. And for me, like I've told you this, when the second you misspell words or you use poor grammar, your argument is invalid to me.
Right.
In that moment, it is invalid to me for the simple fact of if you cannot slow down to let your brain process, and I don't mean like difficult words. I
Right.
don't mean difficult words, like, because let's be honest, we misspell difficult words. But
Yes.
if you put loose, loose, instead of lose, that's not hard. Those are two different words, two different definitions.
It's so true. And I have misspelled that before. That's the funny thing. It was totally on like a nothing. Not like again, these are not like serious reels. That's why it's funny because I'm like, oh yeah, shit, I totally misspelled that. But it's like in the fact that like I'm fast. Hell, Delancey, are you really that surprised when I text you and I asked you about
That's true.
your bust
That's
instead of
true.
your best? I asked her about her bust. Like instead of like, so she shouldn't be that surprised. And I'm like, oh shit. Like it's
Oh
just
no. Still the best. That was still the that's still the funniest. I was gonna say most
right.
hilarious, but funniest, most hilarious, greatest moment ever texting with you was
And
that one. That was
I've only had two typos on videos and I could very recollect them because they make me cringe. And I'm like, crap. So I'm better, but yeah. Anyway.
well, well the thing is though, it's like, but at least they're on funny reels and they're not repetitive. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yes. Yes.
it's if you have it just goes back to they have a whole lot to say nothing.
Right.
They have a whole lot to say to do nothing. And the thing is, and I guarantee you somebody is listening to us right now and they're probably going, well, there are plenty of websites and there are plenty of, other they can Google and they can read a book or they can do this. Not everybody learns like that. Not everybody learns by reading a book. Sometimes people have to be auditory. They have to have someone explain it to them and break it down for them. Sometimes people have to take notes and they have to write it down. And some
Exactly.
people have to do it. Like you have to, not you have to, you don't
Mhm.
have to do anything, but you're a better human being if you take
Right.
into consideration the opposite person's ability to learn and the
Right.
way they need to learn
Yeah.
so they can retain the information. I will say this, I noticed this the other day, but there weren't any classes that like I could go to because all the classes are at different times and different days, and B classes that like I need now in life.
Uh-huh.
But like our city is putting on the Parks and Recreation group in our town, our city is putting on classes, adulting 101 classes. Anybody can sign up for them. They're free. They
That's
just had a
amazing.
class on life insurance. They had a class on credit. They had a class on, they're having a class on cooking. They're doing a class on how, this is my favorite. They're doing a class on how to do a proper blowout with your hair so you can learn how to properly blow dry your hair, which honestly, I know, I laughed too. I started laughing and then I thought about it and I was like,
Brilliant though. No.
I wish somebody had taught me how to do that because I still
Yes.
struggle blow dry my hair. Granted, my hair is like probably 2, 3 feet long, whatever, but still, but different classes like that, different like how to interview, how to write a resume, things like that, that we have all taken for granted at some point in our lives that
Right.
we don't realize that not everybody has access to those same resources to the level that they should. Like
Exactly.
that's I mean, I won't lie. I saw a student's resume, a couple of students' resumes, not too last week, actually.
Hmm.
Last week. Smart kids,
Yeah.
smart kids, like great kids, great kids. Their resumes are terrible. Do you know? But it's because, and my first question was, did they receive help for this?
Right. Right.
And the response I got was, well, they were given a resource to go review. If you had given me a resource, like I didn't know, like I talked about that on my update. My dad helped me with my first few resumes.
Right.
I knew how to initially write a resume. Like I could write a resume if I need to. I don't know why I'm
Correct.
doing air quotes around it because it's not a fake
An air
thing.
quote
Anyway,
thing.
it's not air quote thing, but I could do it. But having somebody else help me to write the next level of resumes, like a resume on the next level, was helpful to have.
Right.
So the fact that our city is putting these classes on,
Yeah.
and I've seen the pictures,
That's amazing. It really is
there's
so
been a
cool.
lot of people there that probably would not have access to those resources otherwise.
Right. See, and that's that
And it's amazing.
that's what
That's
it
what they
takes.
need though.
No, and it's true. And the thing is too, is like, okay, yeah, people will be like, what about money? Okay, I'm sorry, but if you can, I think it's called networking these days,
Mm-hmm.
find people, you can raise that money. We had a
Yeah.
friend, heaven forbid, years back, she had a stroke. She's not that much older than me. Okay. She's
Oh,
got little kids and everything. So, what did I do? I opened like a GoFundMe type thing for her, and we raised
mhm,
like almost $5,000 for her. Like, it can happen. And
mhm.
this is not me being like, I have a 500,000 K following on no, this is simply putting it out there and asking friends and family to share it forward. And then bam, like it's not that
Mhm.
hard to do. So don't give me this shit about, well, I don't have money. You can find a way to get money to make resources. You can find people. You can go search, you
Well,
can Google, you can ask people. You know what I mean? There are so many ways you can build something instead of just talking about it.
even if you don't have money, even if like so like say for some reason they don't have they obviously they don't have money, but if they don't feel comfortable doing GoFundMe,
Right.
for whatever reason, whatever their reasoning is. I get it. That's fine. If you don't feel comfortable, go to somebody, take whatever skill you have
Yes.
and offer your time. Time is just as valuable, if
Exactly.
not more,
Yeah.
because, not everybody, A, is going to be able to go to college, or B, should go to college. Not
Exactly.
everybody is meant to go to school, but a higher learning is a bonus, getting a certification, trade school, something. So helping somebody along to understand a little bit more,
Yeah.
just donate your time.
Yes.
Donate your time.
Exactly.
Donate. I mean, go to your local city and like talk to your person who's over city development or economic development or parks and recreation or whatever department you can, and say, you know what, me and all these other moms have gotten together and we've decided that we want to teach a class on how to properly change a diaper,
Yes. Yeah.
how to iron clothes,
Yeah.
how to properly sort laundry, I mean, just basic stuff that a lot of people may not know how to do not know how to do, whatever,
Right.
you know, little, how to tie a tie, how to get a grease stain out of a shirt.
Right.
Like the
Right.
amount of times I've gone to Pinterest to look up stuff,
Amen.
like I will call my mom readily to ask her. And sometimes if she doesn't have time to tell me, she'll go, why aren't you on Pinterest looking? Or like she'll find new ways to do stuff.
Right. Exactly.
But don't harbor that for yourself. Like get with your church and do it. Like
Yep.
our church does this community event. Like it's not, we don't go teach anything, but we give our time to one of the
Right.
local elementary schools where we have like a fun, basically like field
Yeah.
day, play day, where they go around, they play games and they get to meet
Exactly.
and we just interact. Do just do something.
Exactly.
Quit sitting with your friends with your little wedge salads and your mimosas or your fizzy water or whatever it is that you're drinking, and
Wedge
quit. I
salad.
always think about, I mean, like the episode in Blindside just popped in my head,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Leanne Tui looked at them and said, shame on you.
Yeah.
Like, shame on you. Like, shame on
Right.
all of you for
Yeah.
the fact that, they're all talking about these things and they all write the checks. But
Right. Actually
what did
doing.
they do? Like, what are they
Yeah.
actually, yeah, exactly. What are they actually doing? Now, I'm not saying go pick up a kid off the side of the road. That's may not work out in your favor. But, we all have skills that we could teach somebody. I am very social. Shocker, I know. I am very social. I know how to ask engaging questions
Yeah.
to make somebody talk to me
Right.
and to give me answers. I'm a very curious person, but I also know how to, thank you to Cotillion. I know how to shake somebody's hand, make eye contact, walk with confidence and stuff. I would be happy to teach somebody how to walk through an interview, because you can't sit in an interview and somebody asks you a question and you go, I mean, I don't know. Don't do that.
Mm. No.
You know,
No.
you've
No.
seen it, haven't you? You've
Yes, I
seen
have.
it.
That's why I'm making that
I know
face.
you've seen it.
Okay, this is really on topic, but off topic. When you shake somebody's hand, is there
Mhm.
nothing worse than when you go to shake somebody's hand and it is like a limp noodle? I am not I do not, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's not like this when I shake. When I shake, I'm grabbing and I'm like, nice to meet you. I don't know why I've always been the way. Ben's the exact same way. So he's like, I hate it when I hug, and I crush
Mhm.
their hand because it's like, "Rah." You know, like, yeah.
If I'm going to shake your hand, like we'll say that these are opposite hands, I'm going to go in and shake your hand. Now, I'm not going to break your hand, but I am going to like make it known that I'm shaking your
Yes.
hand.
Yeah. A little
But when
firm.
I go to shake your hand and you do this, I'm like, stop that. What are you doing?
Stop
Like,
that.
to me it's almost, I don't want to say almost insulting, but I it, it's very bothersome to me when people like, they you can tell a lot about a man from his handshake. Now,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not saying men get like grab our hands and break them like you would another dude to assert your
Right.
dominance. Don't do
Right.
that. But we are saying don't, like, this isn't the 1800s where you say milady. Like,
Right.
that's not, this isn't what we're not doing this. We're not doing this number. We're not
You
doing
guys
this
need to watch
number.
the
We're not
YouTube
doing
channel
this.
because of
Like, we're
all of our
not, like, it's not, it's very much a handshake.
yes.
Like,
Just that you're
you're,
known. Just that it's known that like I see you there.
yeah,
That's how I feel like
you,
it is. Like I
yeah,
see you there. It's not,
yeah.
not
I,
skull
well, I
crushing, but
mean,
ooh.
and that's something that people can teach somebody else as well, because the amount of
Exactly. Exactly.
it's, but I honestly, I blame COVID, because the amount of fist bumps that happen nowadays,
Or elbows. I'm like, who
or
does an
elbows. Yeah,
elbow?
I
No,
don't
I will
like that
hug. I will
either.
hug you because I'm weird. Because
Hmm.
I like. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's all very, very bizarre. And I wish somebody would teach a class about social media presence.
Amen.
That could help a lot of people, because
Oh
what's
yeah.
on the internet is there
Oh
forever.
yeah. Exactly.
And that's
Exactly.
why I honestly, I'm interested to see in the next 5 to 10 years, all of these people that have all of these hateful things to say about adoption. I'm interested to see what that's going to look like for them in the next few years, because we have both said readily, it's not perfect.
Right.
Not every story is great, but
No.
the thing is, such is life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you have a skill, you owe it to the world to teach somebody else how to
Right.
use that skill.
Right. And resources are so one, I feel easy to come by if you're willing to put in the work. And if you don't
Mhm,
find anything for it, then freaking put your head down and try and like figure out how to make a resource for other people for that.
mhm,
It's not, you know what I
mhm.
mean? Like, it's honestly, I feel like one of the biggest reasons why me and you started this is because we wanted a landing place where one, we could talk about what we wanted to talk about and
Mhm.
not, because we're so aligned with each other. Then, like, even
Right.
if we don't see eye to eye on some things, we're not like, oh my gosh, we're done with you. Bye. It's like a place to like have a
Right.
friend to talk things about with and two, but also to have other people listen in and to be like, okay, yeah, yeah. And if they don't agree with
Mhm.
us, great. But I feel like mature people will listen, and if they don't agree, then it's like fine, but I can probably still get something out of this, even though,
Right. I
like
can still learn something.
exactly.
Right. I
Exactly.
mean, there needed to be a safe, open space
Right.
for that's welcome to everybody.
Right.
But like, it's a nice place though.
Yeah.
Like, we don't do this whole entire,
Right.
like, meanie, you
Ugh.
know, attacking, whatever, except for that one
Correct.
time that I did say that Molly and Silva's biological mother was the B word. I still stand by that, but whatever. It's my opinion. I'm allowed to have it. I didn't say it. I
But it's
just
our
said the
show
thing,
too.
okay.
So that's what
But
I'm
it's our
saying.
it's
It's
our
it's our
it's our
show.
thing.
And
Yeah.
Delancey has every right to say what she wants. Like it just is what it is.
Right.
It's
Right.
and
Exactly. And like, and it's we wanted to have that safe, open space where like, you're welcome to share, you're welcome to develop, you're welcome to grow.
right.
And we wanted to create, like you said, a resource for everybody else to hear other stories outside of the ones that we hear shouting from the rooftops that adoption sucks, because
Correct.
that's not the case.
Yeah.
That's not the
It's-
case for everyone.
right, right. And it's I just lost my train of thought.
I derailed you. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't know what I was gonna say. Now I'm just forever grateful for it. And like, we are only two stories, I think is what I was getting at, but it's like two stories that people can learn from. I don't even remember what I was saying
Mhm.
anymore. It's fine. It's totally fine.
No, you were saying, what you're saying was, we got together, we created a resource, and I'm trying to like trigger the rest of it. You also said that even if we don't exactly agree with each other, we're still very respectful to each other, and we listen to each other and we hear each other out. Although I don't think there has been very much that we have blatantly
No.
disagreed on, because
I
you
did
can
try and
agree
scare
to
Delancey today,
disagree.
though. It was pretty funny. You guys should have seen her face.
Oh yeah, that was
I was teasing her and she wouldn't even make eye
I
contact with
I
me.
would not. I would not. I was looking down at my phone when she said it, and I was like, I'm not even gonna look up because I'm almost positive I'm making a crazy face right now, and I don't want to make that at her. Like, I want to be respectful. I need to find a way
I
to
was
say
like,
no.
just kidding. And she's like, oh, okay.
Oh my God. Oh,
No, but
because
like,
that was a very stressful 20 seconds.
I'm not gonna lie, it probably wasn't very nice of me, but it was really funny to watch her squirm for just a second.
See. But I mean, but we've also, you have brought up that there are a couple of people that we know that we don't
Mhm.
exactly agree with what some of the things that they say.
Correct.
We don't directly call those people out. However, we have made it known that we don't agree.
Correct. Correct.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
yeah.
here's one thing too, like our stories are very different with which obviously I haven't had much interaction with my birth family, but like
Hmm.
that's the other thing people have got to keep in mind with resources is everybody's stories are so different and not everybody's stories are so aligned. Like a lot of people see mine and they're like, "Oh, it's like happy go lucky and wistful." Mind you, I've never met my birth family in person before. I live
Hmm.
very far away from them. I don't have to have as much interaction as like having my own family close to where it's just family.
Right.
You fight, you get along, you love each other, you laugh, it's just
Family.
family. Yeah. And so it's like I don't have that near and you know what I mean? Like I've known them for
Hmm.
how long, but there's a language barrier and there's only so much and
Hmm.
so that could all change when I meet them in person too. You know what I mean? So people see my story and they're like, "Ah, happy and it's like there's a lot that y'all don't know that Delancey knows with other
Hmm.
parts of like the cogs of the wheel that you guys and I probably won't ever share in depth on here, but it just is what
And
it
you don't
is.
have to.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. That's why it's good, is what I'm trying to say is like it's good to have different people to learn from because
Hmm.
everybody's story is so different.
Well, and
And it's not a bad thing.
I feel like the more you learn from, the more you read, the more you study, the more you can like,
Right.
you should never stop learning.
Correct. Amen.
You should never
Amen.
stop learning. You should never stop growing. You should never stop developing because you don't want a to plateau as a human being. Like you never want to plateau as a human. Like you
Right.
always want to keep growing. So to sit there and make like Milena, before we started recording this, she was reading me some stuff that she had seen online, and I'm almost positive my face was contorting in so like multiple ways, and it hasn't probably contorted in quite some time because I was just going, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to me that people are like so hell bent to say all the buzzwords, be negative, be volatile, try to argue with people, and it's just like, why can't you just walk into a scenario and go, what can I learn from this? How can I help?
Right.
Because those are two things you should be asking all the time.
Yeah.
Like you should be at least once a day, you should be asking yourself one of those questions. What can I learn? How can I help?
Exactly.
I just don't. And now, granted, if you have a day where you don't want to do either of those things, you just want to go crawl into a snuggie and watch a movie and
Sounds
Netflix and
amazing.
chill all day by yourself with your dog, go for it. Because I do it.
I was gonna say that sounds like
That was
coming from
very that
experience.
was very specific. That was very specific.
That does sound amazing. I'm not gonna lie, especially the
I mean,
snuggy part.
and you know what? It's the greatest in the world. And but sometimes you need
Right.
those days because you only have so much that you can pour out without having to replenish yourself.
Exactly.
And your replenishment needs to be something that's going to be taking care of you.
Right.
And that's
Right.
okay. But the only way more resources will be created is if we all stop talking about it and start doing it.
Amen.
You can just do it.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it multiple times on Instagram about the man who grew up without a dad. Have you seen this? I cannot remember his name to save my life, but I've seen it multiple times, a post on Instagram about it. He has a YouTube channel where it basically every single video he's teaching people things that your dad's supposed to teach you.
You did tell me about that a little while ago.
Is
Yeah.
that not the cutest thing?
Yes.
And I'm not trying to like make it seem like something small by saying cutest thing, but to me, that is so precious. He recognized something he was missing in his life,
Right.
and he took it to turn it into something to give back
Right.
and to help
Exactly.
other people, changing a tire, checking the oil, tying a tie,
Right.
different things like that that your dad is supposed to teach you,
Right.
especially to young men.
Right.
If your dad's not there, you need a resource. This man made a whole YouTube channel about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, what the world? Like, how
Yeah.
cool is that? Which actually brings up the other point that I was making the comment to my mom. I was like, it would just be really great if people would ask
Yeah. Yeah.
people within the community, what
Right.
can we do to help? And I don't mean just give
Yes.
you money.
Right.
I mean, money helps. Like we said in the beginning, you've said it,
Right.
I've said it, we'll say it. But like childcare, maybe somebody like, a stay-at-home mom can come and volunteer a couple
Right.
of hours a day at some
Right.
kind of like create a childcare that's all volunteer. Like, how
Exactly.
can you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it just feels like there's a way to help by asking, listening, and taking what skills you have to turn back. But that's also going out to the people who grew up without something. It's your responsibility to voice what you need or to
Yes.
give back in a way
Yeah.
that can help somebody else, like that man did, growing up without a dad, and now he has a YouTube channel teaching you the things that dad is supposed to teach you.
Well, and look at what a great resource he's made. Going back to
Mm-hmm.
resources for people, so many people to have. You know what I mean? And maybe
Oh,
not even
completely
just
agreed.
like sons, but maybe single moms that are like, hey, shoot,
Mm-hmm.
I know this should happen. And so you can look at it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, if you think about perfect example, single moms who have a son
Right.
or even a daughter. Women, you need to learn how to change a tire. Just throwing that
Yes.
out there.
No.
Teaching their daughter how to change a tire, or maybe them learning how to change a tire
Right.
first,
Right.
and then teaching their daughter. Like, it is such it is, that's the best point. It is such an impactful resource for everybody.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's
Like,
what it can be. It doesn't have to be, yes, it's more one specific, like, with for men without dads, but I mean,
mhm,
anybody can use it and anybody can
anybody
use
can use
any
that.
resources. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
I don't see the bad thing with being a resource for people, like we've already discussed. And I mean, because it can be such a helpful thing, because there's so many, that's why there's all these humans on earth. And why Delancey was saying too, like,
Mhm.
don't ever stop learning, because you can learn so much. And it can be something as simple like, I want to learn how to crochet a stuffed bunny. By all means, learn how to do it. You know how cool that is to like rewire your brain to learn how to do something like that? It's something as
Mhm.
little as that. You know what I mean? You can crochet all the bunnies for all the little kids. There you go.
It's so funny that you said that, because my mom actually saw a crocheted my sister ordered a crocheted unicorn for me for my birthday during 2020 during the pandemic, and my
Oh,
mom saw it and she goes, I wonder if I can learn how to do that.
and did
And
she see?
she learned how to crochet animals because she's always been super crafty. I think I get that from her. I
Let's
get it
see.
from her.
You do, and
But
you are, yes.
she's super crafty, and she was like, I'm going to teach you how to do this. And I was like, let me remind myself how to crochet to begin with first. Like, then we'll work on me, like, crocheting an elephant. But I mean,
Right.
it's like you said, it's teach yourself something new, like
Yeah,
learn something new, even if it's like a little fun fact,
right. And
like, and it doesn't something.
I don't want to hear the excuse that you're busy, because me and Delancey are like two of the most busy people I've ever
Oh
met in
my
my life.
God.
And our lives are completely different. This is something too. Busy looks different on everybody. I'm primarily a
Hmm.
stay-at-home mom. Yes, I work a little. We got lots, but Delancey works full time and she's crazy too. She's so heavily involved in her church and stuff like that and all the things. So don't give me this shit of, I'm busy. No, because if me and Delancey can find
Make
time to,
time.
especially doing something like this every single like week, sometimes twice a week, you can make
Hmm.
shit happen. So don't give me that excuse. You can make things happen to be a good resource or to learn something new.
Hmm.
Like, really. Yeah,
You can find the time if you it's all about your priorities and
exactly.
prioritization. And if you want to say, well, I have a family, okay, cool, find something that your family can be a resource about.
Well, it's like a fun
I
fact
mean,
too. How much effort does
yeah.
that take? Like nothing, like Delancey said. Find a fun fact.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that's not hard. Like,
Something fun. Like you can even have like, and that's the thing. It's one, I think one of the biggest things is like us as people, we as people. Yeah, sure. We as people, what we like to do is we like to say somebody younger than us can't teach us anything. You know what I mean? Like,
mm,
oh, they're 16, they don't know anything.
yeah,
Now, granted, I will agree with that statement on certain things because life
correct.
experience does play a big factor into it.
For sure.
And I know I was not very aware of certain things at 16.
Right.
However, that doesn't mean that they're not learning something in school, like a fun fact or how to build something or
Yeah,
how to fix something, or they see like a YouTube video about how to use vinegar and baking soda unclog a drain.
exactly. Exactly.
Like
Yeah,
little things like that. Like you can learn from any age group. You can teach any age group, and you can learn from any age group. Don't
exactly.
immediately shut somebody out because they're younger than you. Like
Right.
that's not, I mean, I when I was like when I was talking to my parents tonight, like, and I was, I think that's really something that not caught them off guard, but it was like they finally they're recognizing more and more that they can learn from their children as much as we learn from them,
Right.
because
Yeah.
we've all had different, like you said, we've all had different life experiences. Life looks different for all of us.
Correct.
Like my mom laughed. She was like, "How are you so busy like all the time?" And she was like, "You don't like Brittany, my sister's busy all the time. My other sisters are busy all the time. They
Yeah.
have husbands and kids just like you do. Brittany's a stay-at-home mom. She does homeschool. They have swim. They have all of the things.
Right.
She has gone away from her home just as much as I am.
Right.
And I have, a dog. Like I don't have a
It's like
child. If you're not
perfect
watching the YouTube video, you
timing.
missed that. Because Pocket's like, what?
That was the best ever.
I mean, but it's true. Like you said, busy does look different, all of us, but that also means that we can teach something different. We can learn something different. Like it's just,
Exactly. Yeah.
don't immediately discount somebody, because I've
Right.
learned so much from our grad assistants in the athletic department, so much from them,
Yeah.
so much, because they're so like, it's
Yeah.
so fresh and new, and they have all these great ideas. And it's like, yes,
Yeah.
yes, like
That's
teach
awesome.
me more. And then they teach me about like, you just don't discount them because they're younger than you. Like they can
Correct.
teach you stuff too.
Right.
Don't immediately just like shut the door on them.
Yeah.
However, if they try to tell you about yourself because of something they saw on YouTube, yeah, you can shut the door on that.
You'll
Just
know.
saying.
You'll get that vibe. Like
You'll, you know.
I hope you're smart enough to get that vibe. That sounds really mean, but it's true. I hope you'll catch it to get that vibe. And if you don't, we still love you. Okay, anyway.
Right.
So we're both like,
Yeah. I just, it's one of those, that's actually something that I really feel like society needs to work on more, is being able to read the room.
yes. Yes.
So
Seriously
yeah,
though. Yeah.
I agree, because I know of just a few people that I've encountered over the last couple of years, and I'm like, you okay?
Yeah. I
We
agree.
need to teach you about reading body language
I
and,
agree.
reading between the lines of
Yeah.
what people are saying.
No, seriously.
Like,
Yeah. Seriously. I agree.
like I don't always get it right, but
Right. Yeah.
there are some people that I'm like, secondhand embarrassment is so strong.
It's no.
And there's resources around that too. It's called Psychology 101. Very good class. Or you can like watch a couple YouTube videos about, YouTube has actually become the best resource, truthfully, in a
It
lot of
really
things.
is. No, I
I
agree.
mean,
I agree
because
with
you
you
can
there.
always, I've noticed this too, because how we were talking about how like you want to look at all a bunch of different sides and different
Yeah.
angles and learn from a
Yeah.
bunch of different people. You know what I really like about YouTube is if you watch a video of one thing, and it's like, say something like something crazy is happening,
Yeah.
there's usually going to be about two or three, maybe possibly four or five videos additional from different angles of that
Yes.
same thing. And
Yes.
that to me is fantastic
Yes.
because you
Agreed.
get more information because that first video may be giving you one perspective
Yeah.
that is not the whole story. And then
Correct.
video 2, 3, and 4 gives you completely new information.
Yep.
So you're just
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
okay,
Exactly.
so,
It's good to have multiple resources besides
oh
just
my
one.
gosh,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, I'm just saying, I learned that in junior high
Y-
when I had to write papers.
Right. I
I'm
agree.
assuming we still have to write papers and we have to have multiple resources to back up what we're saying, but
I would assume too, but I don't know. I don't have kids that age, so I don't know yet.
I have never asked anybody with kids that age.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do know though, I will say this, if I could write a paper about Eminem, this just shows how old I am. When he was first coming out, I was in high school. So controversial,
Yeah.
so controversial.
Oh yeah.
And we had to pick a topic and then we had to write a paper supporting and then another paper the next week going against it.
Uh-huh.
If I could find resources for both sides and make A's on both papers, you can find multiple resources to find information to learn something.
Exactly. Yeah. That was way back
I
then,
mean,
man. What you didn't have
dude,
the resources you guys have like we have now. You know what I mean?
dude,
Yeah.
we did
There's a lot
not
more
have
work. A lot more
that.
work.
We had to go. I remember we had to go to the library.
I was just gonna
The
say, do you remember going
library,
to the library and freaking sitting down and doing paperwork? I remember that all the time. Library, writing crap down. So
card
vividly. And
catalogs.
oh my, yes, exactly. And nobody knows that anymore because it's like, let's just hop on my computer and do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's not,
Exactly. It can all be done remotely on your computer. You're not going to the library anymore. You're not going to look up stuff anymore. You're not going to look for,
no,
journals and, documents and textbooks, encyclopedias. Like encyclopedias used to be law. Like
encyclopedias. I
that was
remember that.
law.
Yes.
Encyclopedias were law. And now it's like, I saw a meme not too long ago where it's like, we're living in an age where information is at our fingertips. We have the most stupid society.
It's
You know what I mean? It's
true. No,
like
but it's so true.
information is right here, but we have a
Yeah,
society of stupid
it's true.
because
No, I
people get
agree.
no feelings.
Yeah,
And facts don't care about your feelings.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's true. It's 100% true.
That was a fun tangent.
Anyway, do you have anything else to add to that? Anything else on your mind? I know me neither. So no,
No,
this was
except
good. And this is one of my favorite things too, is like we choose a topic and we kind of have where we're going, but it always is just awesome because we just know how to flow and talk to each other. I think that's my favorite thing. We just keep talking and it's like the best ever. So
and then
anyway,
Delancey goes on tangents like runaway train,
I
never
run
coming
with you
back.
talking about encyclopedias and libraries, man. I was all over that.
Just trying to get Pocket to look at the little tongue.
Oh,
Sorry,
I love
that's
it.
nothing to do with anything.
No, whatever. Just oh. Anyway. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we will catch you next time.